Good morning. I'm gonna preface this video with, I don't know what it's titled yet, but this is probably one of those videos that gets no views, nobody watches it. If you're here, thank you. But it's probably one of the most important videos that I will rewatch when I'm 80. To be in this moment, clueless, struggling, trying to figure things out, I feel like I would do anything to be back here where I am right now. And I'm here right now, in the moment. That is a big perspective shift, but I'm excited to rewatch this video. So let's jump in. Okay. This video is probably going to be a jumbled mess of my thoughts. I think that will display an accurate representation of my thought process and how I feel and what I'm thinking about. So, but I will try to explain and process as best I can. Basically, let's go high level. Right now, I am reassessing the direction of my business venture research. It's really only gotten to the research stage, but reassessing my direction because some things have happened, and I think it's worth basically reassessing. Is it still worth continuing this on this path? So now, high level, let's go back. How did I get here? I started end of October 2023 trying to figure out business ideas to start down. And I came up with this idea that I like maps, I like to travel, and I have a blog and website. And so the mixture of these three, I started with the problem of when I travel and search for places on the internet, like where should I go in Bangkok? Like what recommendations? You come up with a bunch of blog posts that are in these listicle formats. They list like 10 places to go in Bangkok, or like here's an itinerary. But I use maps and Google Maps so much that I always have to like copy and paste all of the locations from the blog post to my Google Maps to like map it out and figure out visually like where they are. So there's a problem, and I use Google My Maps, which you can create your own maps and embed them on websites. And I realized, okay, there's a potential if having an embedded map of your itinerary is valuable, then there's an opportunity here to say like scrape blog posts and auto-generate embedded maps that bloggers can put in their blog post, and in theory that should, get more engagement, higher engagement time, higher time on page, etc. But I still hadn't figured those out. So that was the hypothesis, and I started reaching out to bloggers, and in doing so, asking a whole bunch of questions. And I realized that for the bloggers that do embed maps, it doesn't take them very long. It's not very difficult to do. And so there's not really a lot of pain point or problem there around generating the maps. And so that wasn't super promising. So I started looking into more broad scope, like, okay, what other problems do travel bloggers have as keeping the same niche but looking at different problems, like somewhat non-map related. And in reaching out to a whole bunch of people, I realized that nobody actually had data on interactions with their embedded maps. And so came up with some other problems that I found, but this like maps thing kept nagging me in the back of my head. And so I was curious enough that I built a Google Analytics that tracks interactions with an iframe, embedded map, on a blog post. And so now I had something valuable to offer. And so I went back to all the bloggers, basically, and said, hey, you said you don't have data. Here's the solution. I will give you a free engagement report, whatever that means, and I will integrate my data, my analytics package or whatever. It'll track some data on the interactions with the embedded maps. I'll throw in some other things about like what affiliate links are being clicked a lot, and I'll package it up, give you this engagement report for free, if you allow me to, add my data to your analytics. And what I wanted to get out of this was, I wanted to see, what does the data actually say? Nobody has data on, are people interacting with these embedded maps? And so I wanted to see, what does the actual data say? And then it was really the whole free engagement report is really a foot in the door as an opportunity to figure out what are more valuable problems to solve. I did a lot of digging into monetization strategies of bloggers, and I wish I could summarize this better, but it wasn't super promising, is not the right word. Encouraging, it's still not the right word. It's not exactly what I'm looking for. And so I'll get into what I'm looking for later. So I was looking for more valuable problems to solve. And I got 2 bloggers to agree to this free engagement report. One of them, I thought, probably had the best embedded maps that I had seen in looking at hundreds of blog posts. And so I was like, this is a really good opportunity to see what is the best map? What's the data look like on a really good map? Rather than just some thrown together, here's a couple little points. And then another blogger, rather than embedding maps, linked to maps. So I talked about, I wanted to get the data on interactions with maps. I wanted to see a foot in the door to see what more valuable problems could be solved. And then the third thing I kind of wanted to see was assessing the market and the niche. What do blogger analytics look like? What are users flat? Are they growing? Are they down? Let me learn a little bit more about my niche here. And so I think this takes me to, I created reports, sent them to both of these bloggers, and that I think takes me to December, mid-December. Let me also say, at the end of this, I realized that I had gotten 2 bloggers to agree, a third was potentially interested, and then I had sent emails to maybe 30 or so others, and I realized I needed to scale up my reach outs. I needed to send to, rather than 5, 10, I think I maxed at like 19 emails in one day or something like that, like 14 to 19. And I realized I need to be doing like 100 a day and get up to 5. I reached out to 99 bloggers in total, asking, email reach outs. And I was like, 99, like I need to be doing 99 a day, that kind of thing. Like the numbers are just not, the volume is just not there. And so I started to realize, and I had this idea that we could potentially use, and I say we, I've been working with my brother kind of as an advisor role in this. We could potentially scale this up with a script using OpenAI's API, basically ChatGPT, and like a Bing or like a web search, Google search API. And so I started working on coding a tool that would basically do a whole bunch of web searches, like best Paris itinerary with map. And then it would take the top, I think it was the top 25 websites and shove them into a CSV file. And so I did this with 150 destinations. It came back with 3,000 total results at like 25 per, I don't know what that math is. And at the end of the day, I got a list of 1,200 plus or minus some, like there were some like youtube.com websites in there. I needed like blogs, so like call it 1,000 blogs. And that was like step one of this coding a script to scale up lead generation. And the ideas were, we can take all the websites, go through all of the websites, crawl their website, grab their email. So now we have a website and an email. And then we could also see if we could personalize this. So have the script crawl the website, look for like some connections, some potentially, opener lines for an email, like, oh, I saw you also did van life. Like, oh, that's amazing. And so there's a opportunity to like personalize in this, with this script to make a cold email. And so I had only gotten to like step one, and the rest of the idea was crawl the websites and basically get a list of website, email. Do they use embedded maps? Like, are they a customer for this free engagement report offer analytics package? And then is there some kind of personalization that I can add in my email? And so that's as far as I got. And in doing this process, I was like, hold on a sec. Scaling or getting emails, leads, basically, at scale with basically the click of a button, with personalized information for your opener to your cold email. Isn't this like incredibly valuable for like any business? Well, maybe not any business, but any business that is looking for leads with publicly available information. Like, isn't this incredibly valuable? And so with that kind of in the back of my mind, this gets me to like end of December. This is when holiday season, when I realized, or I didn't realize, that I had marked all my emails as spam, and so I wasn't seeing any blogger emails, which is kind of a blessing for the next 3 weeks. And I left Bali, went to Singapore, disconnected, started working on end of the year, optimizing my efficiency, productivity, workspace, stuff like that. And that brings us to today. So that's how I got here. Now I think, let me talk to you about what I was working on yesterday, which is reassessing the direction. Because remember I said I was looking for three things when I was giving these engagement reports. Let me say first, when I found my emails, the feedback from the bloggers was really good. One blogger, the one that linked to maps, said, like, wow, this is really interesting. I'm actually going to change one of my blog posts. Like, it looks like these are performing well, so I'm gonna change my blog posts or change future blog posts to see if they can, match the performance. And like, please keep collecting data. And the other blogger with the really good maps, I got to talk about the data too. We'll get into that. She said that this is also like really good feedback. And she said something that I think I agreed with, which is basically she said, if like I'm interested in what your plan is, my plan. Like if your goal is to offer this digital analytics like as a freelance service, like customized, personalized reports for businesses, it's a really good idea. If instead you are looking to like create a tool, something like a map related tool, you should probably look for like a different niche or business, something that has more money associated with it, because maps just don't convert people. And I was like, yes. So let me talk about the data before I talk about. So basically, if I can summarize the data on, basically I was gathering a whole bunch of data on interactions with iframe elements, which are embedded maps that are iframe elements. And what I was seeing was the graph. I wish I could show you the graph. The graph kind of, it spikes up around like 1 to 2 seconds, and then it comes down and it's this really long tail. And so the like average is like 1 to 3 seconds for how long users are viewing the map. And then it gets down into like, I can't remember, it was like 25% is like over 5 seconds or something like that. And what I was seeing was there's a very small minority of users that would like see the map, they would scroll down, they would read the rest of the blog post, and then they would scroll back up and they would look at the map for a lot longer. And then it would be like 30 seconds or like 60 seconds or a minute and a half or like a couple minutes. And so the problem is that for the majority of users, the map just doesn't capture, like people are looking at it for a couple seconds, but they're not interacting with it. And there's a small minority of people that are making up most of the interactions. They're spending like a long time looking at the map, and they're doing a lot of clicking. And like I know what those people are doing. But it's a very small minority of people. So like if you're trying to sell to them, if you're trying to do anything, like we're talking about 1 to 5% of people, like very, very low. I think it came out to like 2%. And the amount of time you're working with is not a lot. And so that, along with looking at blogger data and trends generally, the bloggers that I worked, I think this is hopefully safe to say. The bloggers that I was working with, I feel like had pretty solid blogs. Like they had a lot of content. They had good content, good amount of like daily viewership. Like we're not talking about like peanuts, and viewership over the last like 2 years was essentially flat. And I saw this other in doing some research. I saw this other blogger not associated with me that was sharing their analytics, and it was like they had like pre-COVID analytics, and it was like, you know, up, and then COVID hit and it dropped down to like 20% or something like that. And by, I don't remember the date they stopped or whatever, it was like 2021 or 2022, it had gotten to like maybe half of pre-COVID levels. And so talking about like the market and the niche generally, maybe this is obvious, but my understanding was that blogging is still a thing, because like whenever you search something, come up with blogs, and like there are a lot of how to start a blog type content, and so I feel like there are a lot of people that are starting blogs and that it is, you know, gaining popularity potentially, but in reality the data seems more flat. I wouldn't say it's declining, but it's more just flat and not growing. And so I think that is a little bit about the data and the market. Let me jump back to yesterday. So I'm reassessing. I said I was looking for 3 things. I was looking to get data on embedded maps. I was looking to get my foot in the door for more valuable problems to solve. And I was looking for data on blogging as a niche, basically. We'll start with that. Blogging as a niche, I just talked about it. Essentially kind of flat. And not exactly what I want. Like, it's not bad, it's just not what I'm looking for. I think that's how I want to phrase it. So flat, kind of stagnant, not exactly what I'm looking for. The monetization strategies are not, I just feel like if you take a blogger, their customer is a traveler searching for recommendations. The lifetime value of that customer is so low, because like the blogger is making money off of ads or affiliates for the attention of the traveler. Other things are like sponsored posts, and that's like your customer is like a brand instead, and so you're getting money like, you know, $5,000 for like a post. I just don't, it's not super encouraging. A lot of the business models I've been seeing in this blogger space, and really content in general, is a lot of like rev share models, revenue sharing, where it's like, you know, the blogger pays nothing, but they get like 5% of the hotel booking that the traveler does. And you just need volume, and I don't like that as a starter business model. And so the niche I have been concerned with, growing concerns, as I've learned more information, and I've been trying to balance, like, how do you balance the 5 stages of change: uninformed optimism, informed pessimism, valley of despair, informed optimism, and then success. I am in 100% informed pessimism and the valley of despair somewhat. I'm trying to figure out how much when you make a decision, because like when you're in informed pessimism, but you're in the right path and direction, the answer is just you have to keep going. But I have questions about the path and direction, and I was like, I saw in October, November, the uninformed optimism of like, oh, this idea would be really cool. I had optimism, and then I learned more about the niche and the market and the space and who values what, and I'm like, it's not as good as I wanted it to be. And so now I have data that I'm looking at, and I'm seeing, And so I'm trying to balance data of actual information has changed and what is uninformed optimism or informed pessimism, and you just have to keep going. I still don't know how to balance those two, but the niche I don't love. And so this whole like foot in the door for more valuable problems, if I'm questioning the niche and the target customer, then this is kind of irrelevant. The other two, the data on embedded maps, I already talked about. It's like you have like 3 seconds to capture attention, and the attention is just not there. There's a small minority of people that are using the maps a lot. And it's like, there's a great idea here is affiliate marketing, but through maps. And it's a great idea. It has, revenue potential, working with businesses. You can set up a rev share model, but it's like, well, first of all, you're in a boat as your business model. You're in a body of water that is, you're working with 3 seconds of attention, and then a small minority of people are using the maps a lot. And then you're in a broader ocean that is like travel blogging is flat, and attention is more towards video right now. And I'm like, sure, it could make money, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. Still haven't told you exactly what I'm looking for. So the data is not really showing, like if it were like, oh my God, the average is 10 seconds and 15 seconds or whatever, and people are really interacting with, like, there are a lot of clicks on the map, then I think this would be different. But it's not that way. So the third thing, what was it? Data on embedded maps, blogging niche, in general, foot in the door, for more valuable problems. I don't remember the third off the top of my head, I'm going to be honest. So that's basically that. And let me get into, so what are my opportunities? I think it's worth, yesterday I decided that it's enough, I have enough information that I want to make a niche pivot. Like, there are opportunities, I am not taking them. I want to be clear. And maybe now I'll talk about, so what I'm trying to build is I want a scalable, preferably SaaS business that can be in the long term scaled to be like very passive. Does that take 30 minutes? That's okay. Like I said, nobody's gonna watch this video. Okay, my camera just shut off. I don't know what happened. I think I lost the last 5 to 10 minutes of this part 2. I can't remember where I was. I think, let me summarize. I think this is a good indication that I need to stop this video. I think I remember saying, nobody's gonna watch this video. And so if you're here watching, thank you. You are my hero. And did I talk about, I don't think I talked about, or I think I talked about a scalable business. So let me say, so what am I looking for? I have this digital analytics for travel bloggers, but it doesn't really fit. And so this is the business that I'm looking for. I'm looking for basically scalable, probably SaaS, something that can, in the end, passive cash flow, just like maintenance mode, no bootstrapping, no outside investment. And so I've come up with criteria, and that they are market demand. There is existing and high demand in the market. Customer acquisition is profitable. Competition in the market is not too fierce that makes customer acquisition difficult. Margin, the product has high margin, low overhead cost. Market direction, demand is consistent and not subject to seasonality or bigger trends, or the business is easily adaptable to new trends. Automation, the marketing, sales, customer support, product delivery can all be automated without hiring outside help. Fulfillment, the product and fulfilling the product requires no active time, ideally. Cost, it costs nothing or low investment to create. Specificity, the main benefit can be encapsulated in a single sentence. And lastly, niche, the niche has a massive pain, purchasing power, is easy to target, and is growing. And so, again, I don't remember where the video cut off, but basically I'm looking at what are my opportunities now. I could continue the digital analytics for travel blogging, but I don't love how that fits the scalable business criteria. It's like, it can be, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. And so I think I've decided yesterday, we're axing the travel blogging niche, we're axing the digital analytics for travel bloggers. And so opportunities now are this whole like AI powered lead generation. It's like a whole separate business idea, completely separate, and no relation with travel blogging or maps or anything like that. But it's another idea. So that's one opportunity. Another is like a tangential pivot of, I have the skill of analytics, and so I could offer that as a service, or I could build something that offers analytics for a different niche, like e-commerce. I think it was e-commerce, content creators, small to mid-sized businesses, figuring out some niche, but like still keeping in analytics. And then the other thing was, I started this like AI powered personalized travel itineraries in Singapore, and that could totally be a business. But I haven't analyzed it yet, and so I don't know if it fits my criteria. So I don't know what context is missing, but that's where I'm at. And I think a pivot is necessary from the travel blogging niche because of the data. I don't like the scalability of digital analytics, and I think one of the things I was saying was that what does this look like in a year? And I think the digital analytics for travel bloggers becomes like a SEO business, search engine optimization, or like a conversion rate optimization business. And again, there's money there. It can be somewhat automated, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. And I don't feel super great about it. And so we've asked some things, and I'm looking at new opportunities and researching. It feels a little disappointing to be back at like square one of researching niches and problems and solutions, but such is life. The last thing that I wanted to share, and if you made it this far, thank you. I think the reason I am being selective here is, and I have to keep reminding myself that this is, and what makes it so difficult compared to something like the education system, where there's a right answer and a wrong answer. In life and in this, there are literally infinite answers. You can do anything, and it can be a right answer. And so I have to keep reminding myself, it's not like there's no money in the travel blogging industry. There are no opportunities. That's not true. There are opportunities. There are ways to make money. There are business models. They will work, but they aren't what I'm looking for. And so I'm choosing to leave money on the table. And I think the reason I'm doing that is because right now I am in the fortunate position where I don't need to make money yet. And so while I have that choice, I'm going to choose which business and business model to go down and make sure it fits my end goal criteria, because I don't want to just do something because it's something to do and because I could make money. You know, like I could very well do digital analytics for travel bloggers. I could do it for other blogs, but it feels very freelance, and I don't want just another job. You know, I want to build an asset, and I don't see that. Again, it's like it's a sliding scale. Like I could automate some or most of digital analytics offers, but it just doesn't feel right. So again, I have to keep reminding myself. It's like, while I have the choice, I'm making a choice to leave money on the table. And it may not be like that forever, but while it's there, might as well take advantage. So next steps, I am going to continue researching and brainstorming, analyzing the current opportunities, and see what to do next. So I think a pivot is necessary. It's just how far are we pivoting? Am I pivoting to like something close, like analytics, but for a different niche? Are we going further into but staying in travel? Are we staying in maps still? Or are we just going completely other side of the planet to lead generation? I don't know. Or are we doing something else entirely? I don't know yet. But that is where my head is at. And like I said, when I stop and take a second and realize where I am, I feel a sense of gratitude and satisfaction. I don't know what the right word is, but it's like, this is it. I'm in it. I'm living it. I'm struggling. I am trying to figure it out. I am working through different things, like trying to learn, and like this is so valuable, and like it just feels good, you know? And so I can't wait to rewatch this video in 60 years. But we have to make it there first. So thanks for watching if you made it this far. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.